Hello and welcome to another audio analysis. In today's video we're looking at the single Watch the World Burn, the third to be released from the upcoming EP Neon Zombie by Falling in Reverse. The band are certainly turning up the heat with their upcoming EP, and it does feel like it's going to be a bit of a concept EP at that. We've certainly seen the title Neon Zombie play towards this idea of we're living in a digital age and we're all being kind of corrupted, we're mindless, and that's been shown through the tracks as well in the form of Zombified, this idea that we're all just kind of taking on a lot of misinformation, and that was then amplified with Voices in My Head, really kind of showing that idea. And now we've got the third track, Watch the World Burn, which certainly does have another feel to it just off the title alone. It does feel like it's kind of fitting in around this world of we are destroying our world, we are becoming mindless zombies effectively. So I'm really interested to see exactly how they're going to take this particular track, because the first two have certainly shown us a lot of different styles and a lot of really interesting blends of metal, rap and other strong elements. So will this track set the world alight or simply result in an ice age? Let's take a look at exactly how it sounds.
Yeah, I got voices in my head again, tread carefully, and I don't medicate, it helps me temporarily. I got problems, I got issues, yeah, apparently. Trauma that I'm burying, I think I need some therapy.
Okay, already we've got a really interesting opening here. These very ominous sounds. It almost adds to that idea of that zombified kind of style that we've seen. They're very haunting, very just mellow, but very ominous in their styling. Also, straight away with the lyrics, we've got ideas that tie in with the idea of Zombified, Voices in My Head, and a couple of other tracks they have released in the past as well. The idea of Voices in My Head. And Ronnie Radke's had suffered with a lot of mental health issues, so it's really interesting to see how that's really already being tied in. I feel this is going to be a very personal track to him, as we have seen a little bit of elements like that in some of the previous tracks they have released.
Battle depression, I'm back with a message. I'm asking the question that if you hate me, why you acting obsessive?
Oh, that's quite an interesting lyric, that if you hate me, why are you acting obsessive? This idea that kind of, I feel like this is kind of the challenges that have been put against him over the recent past few years. The idea that he's been sort of, people have been obsessing over him and the things that he's done, even though they kind of say that they hate him, they kind of constantly talk about him, constantly bring him up in conversation. So it's quite interesting to see that him really reflecting on that, really asking that question of why are you talking about me so much if you hate me? It is that idea that kind of that obsessiveness that people can get with people they don't like.
Pass a point and no return by being passive aggressive. I'll brandish a weapon, teach all you motherfuckers a lesson.
Oh, that's very aggressive. I like how we're really picking up towards the end of this first verse. He's really just kind of building to that point where he's about to kind of explode, just really building that anger level, but kind of throwing in the expletives as well, saying that he's going to teach everybody a lesson. So I like that's just a very short build, just kind of almost like reaching that boiling point.
I actually battle my demons and shadows and women, the deep and the creep in the shallows and lost. Gotta admit that I'm living the life that I've always wanted, but it comes to the cost.
Okay, I was not expecting that speed out of him. I mean, don't get me wrong, we see a lot of rap in his previous tracks, but I was not ready for that. I was expecting to maybe hear a bit more aggression, but that is very, very quick, and I like that actually. I like these bringing out that speed, like he's really throwing a lot of quick punches, like a boxer, just throwing out hit after hit after hit, and straight away we open with, I actually battle my demons and shadows. So he's fighting back. It is that fighting talk that he's kind of really showing through this. They swim in the deep and creep in the shallow, so almost like he's being hunted effectively by people. So this definitely feels like a track where he's really fighting back at the people that have questioned the things he's done or questioned his motives or really tried to cancel him effectively. So really interesting to see how he's just really fighting back very strongly with this rap.
I'm fixing to rip me apart. I'm swimming with stars. I'm lifting the bar. I'm lifting it into the stars. I'm like I shot up adrenaline mixed with some Ritalin. Started a battle, but bitch, I'm gonna finish it. Think you can stop me? Not even a little bit. Nowadays, everybody's so sensitive.
And there we go. I really like that lyric then. Actually, nowadays everybody's so sensitive, and this is definitely starting to tie in with the idea of cancel culture. This idea that people are kind of just really easily offended by everything in today's modern world. If you've got an opinion and someone doesn't like it, they are going to go straight for your throat. So he's really kind of hitting at some of these really heavy elements that are really, certainly very, what's the word I'm looking for? They're the sort of things that you kind of don't want to steer too close to. You really try and avoid them in a lot of senses because you're so scared that you're going to get kind of attacked by somebody if you go near it. So he's really just throwing every punch that he can possibly, and I suppose for him he's kind of someone that's got nothing to lose. He's always been challenged by people, and that's really showing through this rap, and it's really just nice to see him just throwing so many hits already. Okay, actually, I'm loving some of these lyrics. Like, it's so hard to understand them, but it's great when you actually pick up on them. I'm tipping repeatedly the charts. Again, it's got this idea of people trying to chain him down and really stop him, but he keeps coming back. He's like a phoenix. Every time you try and just get rid of him, he just reappears. He just reforms and really just kind of puts out more hits with Falling in Reverse. I mean, they've been putting out hits for so many years, and it's really great to see that he's just fighting back so hard on this.
I got enemies trying to get rid of me. Evil tendencies are fucking with me mentally. I got people that don't like me in the industry. I can feel your energy. You were not a friend of me.
So again, keeping it very personal, every single lyric that is in this is really just showing that idea of there's people do not like him, and he really does. Again, he can feel the energy coming off of people, and he can really feel that they're not particularly happy with him, those evil tendencies, and they're screwing with his mentality, but he just keeps plodding on, and it's just great. I mean, there's a really interesting style that we've got compared to the previous singles on how he's really pushing it forward, and I'm really, really impressed by the speed of his rapping at the start. That really has caught me off guard.
I have been to places that you never want to go, yeah. I got dirt on people, but they act like I don't know, yeah. I can do some damage, but I'll never rock the boat. All it takes is one post with some fun like dominoes.
Okay, again, just really nice how at the end of this verse, again, we're really building that aggression right towards the end. I really do enjoy that, and the idea that kind of he has a lot of things that he's, in fact, despite the fact people think he's extremely evil as a person, he's kind of kept a lot of demons to himself that he could share. He could really kind of start the dominoes falling if he wanted to, so it's just showing that although he does fight back, he has got some restraint in himself to not really just kind of start lashing out at everybody around him.
You'll never get rid of me, too many enemies whipping my imagery. You know my history, in it a mystery. Put every enemy out of their misery. Somebody send me some positive energy. I'm about to go dark, I'm about to go Disney. Into the darkness, into infinity.
Okay, this ties him all in with the video, but you've really got to appreciate that. The idea of kind of almost like he's leading the Galactic Empire, talking about going Darth, about going Disney. So I like some of these. This has got a bit of a fun quip that he's thrown into this, into the darkness, into infinity. He's like Buzz Lightyear, effectively. So I do think it's really interesting to see him tying in some of these more kind of funner lyrics with what is quite a dark and aggressive track.
Shut you motherfuckers up! Listening? Stacking every little pretty penny that I'm getting, and I'm never giving in to anybody. Always winning, never kidding. When I die, I'm taking everybody with me. You're never gonna get me, cause you never see a simple. Yeah, my motherfucking God, you're a light gone. I'm a time on, I'm vibe wrong, it's my on. I'm killing syllables of the letter of Philip. I'm a lyrical, typical super villain. I'm venomous, and I'm never gonna stop until they put me on top of the list.
Okay, you just got to appreciate how quick that is. I mean, that is like Eminem level speed. He's really throwing out a lot on this. And I'll be honest, I try and break that down, but I didn't catch most of that. I caught a bit about he's a lyrical, typical supervillain. He's venomous. So really just like tying in the idea of serpents being a bit of a snake as well. So really tying in lots of metaphoric lyrics as well, or sort of the ones that you can catch up with. I think he mentioned time bomb in there as well. Almost like he's set to explode. He can only take so much before he really, really does just become this effective supernova.
Control the monster any longer that's inside. The pain and sorrow left us solo. Now tomorrow's hard to swallow.
So again, we've got a really another interesting. He's just constantly, and it's effectively like he's throwing an occasional haymaker, literally just going into the rap now, really just going into the rock elements, and you don't see it coming from a mile off. You really don't know what he's going to do with each part of the track, and I absolutely love that. I love these transitions because they are quite sharp, but they add that punch, they add that real strong kick, and that's what you need for this kind of track.
Death is calling, someone crawling. Tightrope walking now, I'm falling down. Like missiles falling from the sky. Come and save us.
You've got to love the speed on them drums as well. I believe Luke Holland, I don't know if he's actually recorded this, but I know he tours with them, and he's in a very impressive drummer. I love the speed on them drums, just really adding a very strong pace to just really keep up with these quicker lyrics. Even in the rock part that Ronnie is going through, he's really speeding everything up, and I like that it just ties this constant idea together. He's just throwing constant punch after punch, really biting back. Because if someone really kind of attacks somebody after they've been attacked, it tends to be very sharp, it tends to be very quick, and I like that he's doing that with this. If it was a slower track, just like a traditional rock song, it wouldn't have that same snappiness to it.
Pain and sorrow left us solo. Here today, but gone tomorrow. Pain inside is the fuel that drives this flesh and bone through blood-red skies.
Okay, I like that like kind of demonic laughter. We're really just transitioning from rap into rock, and we're kind of heading more towards a metal styling as well. Really kind of showing that evolution, and it goes back to the idea of being a phoenix. Every time he gets knocked down, he comes back, and I like these shifting styles because it does reflect the idea of each time he's down, he just reforms, he comes back, and the music is tying in with that same idea as well.
The death-defying, hypnotizing. One day you're gonna figure out that everything they taught you was a lie. Watch the world burn.
That was a really impressive drop. I'm really enjoying this. I just love these style changes. I like the way that he really just uses his voice to bring some of these moments in. And we've gone into that demonic kind of section of the track, and I like that he brings it in with this almost like kind of Hail Mary sort of like almost choir-like vocal that really helps to bring it into this satanic part. It's a really interesting twist that they have thrown on it. You've got to appreciate as well the melodic side of this part of the track. They've really blended it. I mean, you couldn't make it more melodic in the rap part because it was just physically impossible. But I like now we've got into these metal elements. They're really just kind of bringing these guitars in properly, really giving it this nice crescendo after what's been a very snappy, very aggressive, very strong track so far. Well, what a roller coaster that was. That is certainly for sure. I was not expecting that from the third single. Given what we'd heard on the first two, that was a real sweet and interesting surprise. I mean, I'm blown away by the rap section. That was really interesting. I couldn't quite pick up on every lyric, but the ones that I caught up on were really, really impressive. Just this idea of this constant fight back. And I was quite interested by the actual final verse as well, because it kind of transitioned that idea into him kind of screaming at people to really take back their life, stop being controlled. And it's almost like the idea of him breaking free, kind of reaching this maximum power level and breaking everybody else through by conveying this message. But that was just, I was not expecting that. I'm kind of a bit dumbfounded by some of the elements, because that was a very, very strong track. I mean, the transitions between the sections of the actual song itself were just so beautiful because it was like landing a haymaker, and this is a fight back track. That's what it is. And I love the way that he's constructed all the lyrics around this idea, this sharp quick punches, these heavy drops as well. Everything just really came together. It was a bit of a masterpiece, really, just kind of really pushing heavily the idea of what he wanted to get across, really fighting back at the people that have doubted him, the people that tried to keep him down. And I am super excited to see what the rest of this EP is going to kind of hold after that. That is definitely the best track of the three that we have heard from Neon Zombie so far. So that will be everything for today's video, but please let me know your thoughts on this track. That is just such an interesting song. I can't understand like what I've just watched. Part of me can't, but part of me is extremely impressed. That was certainly something I was not expecting, but I would love to know your thoughts, so please drop them in the comment section below. And as always, if you want to see more content like this, then please do feel free to subscribe, and I will see you in the next audio analysis.